All right, welcome to lesson 17 of Digital Marketing 3 part-time, where we are now going to be looking at competitors. So you realize that at the beginning of the evening, we spoke about situation analysis. We discussed situation analysis and we had a look at the digital marketing environment. We discussed the two elements of digital marketing environment. We had a look at the micro environment and the macro environment. That was lesson 9. So it means that we've covered a lot because we started with lesson 9 and we are now on lesson 17. We had a look at the micro environment and we said that the micro environment has got customers, has got competitors, has got intermediaries, has got suppliers, and so forth. We were busy unpacking the first aspect of the micro environment, which are customers. We had a look at customer analysis. We looked at demand analysis. We looked at the 8 antecedents. We looked at online customer experience. We looked at the buying process. We looked at consumer persona. We looked at the emotions and so forth. And we also discussed that the reason why we are discussing customers, it is because customers are an aspect of the microenvironment, but they also affect the existence of any business. In order to survive as a business, you need customers. Customers must buy from you or must do business with you for you to be able to make income, to pay employees, to get profit, and so forth. So customers are actually crucial, and it is also customers that we discuss with when coming up with digital marketing campaigns. So we formulate strategies on how we are going to engage with customers on digital platforms, how we are going to nudge them to buy the products and so forth. So we are done with customers. Now we are going to look at another aspect of the micro environment, which is competitors. So we are going to look at competitors. We are going to look at the nature of competition. We are also going to introduce the theory of Porter's 5 force model. We are also going to look at how technology drives competition. Because nowadays there are tools out there that companies are using to have a competitive advantage in the industries in which they operate. So these are the aspects that we are going to be looking at. And as we go through competition, you are also going to be coming across terms such as commoditization, competitor analysis, competition benchmark, situation analysis, and online marketplace. And most of them already we have discussed them. Are there any brand rivalries that you're aware of, Calvin?
Repeat again.
Are there any brand rivalries that you're aware of?
Brand rivalry. Nike
And Puma?
and Puma and
Mm.
the new one that what do you call it? New Balance.
New Balance, yes, correct.
And Lacoste.
Mm.
Yeah, and many more.
Yes, yes. So you'd realize that even in sports, there's Orlando Pirates versus Kaizer Chiefs, they are competitors and so forth. So you realize that organizations do not operate in silo. Organizations operate where other organizations and we always compete for the same customers, sometimes not necessarily the same customers. We also compete for the same suppliers. We also compete for the same employees, the skills that you want to get, same strikers if it's football. We also compete for the same infrastructure. Want to have a good building. Even the areas in which we operate. Your competitor is operating in Sandton and you are in Soweto. That could say something. So as digital marketers, it is important to understand that a key consideration is developing an understanding of how to satisfy customers better than the competition. As an industry, we know that an industry is a group of brands that market products that are close substitute for each other. However, some industries are more profitable than others. Some are reasonably stable, while others are very volatile. The variance between industrial sectors and specific markets is not all down to the abilities of companies within the market to produce customer certification. So you realize that how satisfied customers are will determine whether they are going to ditch you, leave you for your competitor, or they are going to stay with you. So these are the various forces that shape the rule of competition, and you also call them the five Porter's forces. So when you are looking at competition, sometimes brands are not competing at all. It is the buyers that determine competition. So people who are buying are the one who are actually shaping the nature of competition. For example, buyers will be competing on their own, like I have this Samsung S25 versus you, we have got an iPhone 16. So we are now seeing a competition between an iPhone and a Samsung. Not necessarily because Apple and Samsung are competing, but because the buyers themselves, they are competing. I drive a BMW, I'm better than you. That's competition. You can also have competition from the bargaining power of suppliers. Suppliers can fuel competition. You can have a same farmer who is farming potatoes, supplying both McDonald's and KFC with potatoes for their chips. The supplier can have a good relationship with McDonald's, giving McDonald's better quality of potatoes and giving KFC poor quality of those potatoes. Then all of a sudden people are running to McDonald's because they've got good quality. So meaning that the supplier is the one that who is driving competition between McDonald's and KFC. You can also have substitute of products as part of competition. We have seen it with the cars. For example, Toyota. Toyota is competitive through its multiple models that they are selling. They've got many variants in their product catalog. Starting from Toyota iGear. That's the smallest Toyota that I've met so far. Then you've got Toyota Yaris. You've got Toyota Starlet. You've got Toyota Corolla. You've got Toyota Corolla Cross. You've got Urban Cruiser. You've got Toyota Hilux. You've got FJ Cruiser. You've got Toyota Land Cruiser. You've got Prado. Like they've got a lot that keeps them above their competitors. Some have got less product models like your Renault. You only have a Kwid, followed by a Kiger. Then there's a Capture, a Clio, a Duster. What else? That's so they've got 5 models. No, there should be another one. I just forgot it, which is an SUV. So you need to understand competition from a threat of substitute products and services, but competition can also be determined by barriers to entry. Nowadays, you've got banks colluding with each other, even if they are competitors, not to allow a new entrant into the market. So, for example, if you were to start a bank in South Africa, you need to get permission from the existing banks. How crazy that is. So they can determine whether they want you in the game or they do not want you. The same thing with Premier League or Soccer League, whatever it is. They do have a say to the competition. That's why we have got the Competition Commission that regulates competition and also monopoly of prices and so forth. Then lastly, we have got the intensity of rivalry. You need to understand competition levels, because sometimes levels are not the same. You are Mobicel, I'm iPhone. Do you compete with me even though we're in the same industry? That can also say something. So these are the 5 Potter's forces that I discussed previously. And there are questions that you need to ask yourself as a brand. For example, threats of new entrants. How easy is it for a business to set up a shop? Then the bargaining power of buyers. How much power do customers have? Because yes, customers do have power. Then when you are looking at suppliers, ask yourself a question: how much power do suppliers have? Because suppliers can control the brand, saying that you are limiting the suppliers that you are going to give you versus the suppliers that you are going to give your competitor. You also look at the threat of substitute. How likely are customers switch to an alternative? Then, of course, you can look at the intensity of competitive rivalry. How many firms compete and how much is the market growing? So those aspects are always crucial, and they are now more discussed in detail here. I'm not going to read all through that because it is already available in your textbook. So when you are doing competition, there's also what is called competitor benchmarking. Competitor analysis and benchmarking of competitor use of digital marketing for acquisition and retention for customers is especially important because of the dynamic nature of the digital community. So it is also crucial for brands to understand how their competitors engage with customers online, behave in the digital community. What platforms are they using? How many followers do they have? What is the frequency of their marketing campaigns? When do they engage with the customers? It's always crucial. So the digital age enables new services to be launched and elements of the new marketing mix, such as price and promotion, to be changed much more frequently than was functionally traditionally before. Copying of concepts and approaching within sectors is rife, but can sometimes be controlled through patenting. So you need to make sure that if you are copying someone's stuff, if it's copyrighted material, can be in trouble for that because that's illegal, that's plagiarism. So marketers cannot just copy content from their competitors because they can be sued for that. So the implications are that competitor benchmarking is not a one-off activity while developing a digital marketing strategy, but needs to be continuous. So what is it that we look at now is a term called competitor benchmarking, which is a term used for structured comparison of digital marketing approaches of an organization's services within a market. Its purpose is to identify threats posed by changes to competitor offering, but also to identify opportunities for enhancing a company's own digital services by looking at innovative approaches in non-competing brands. So here we do the SWOT analysis. So benchmarking is closely related to developing the customer proposition and brand experience, and is informed by understanding the requirements of different customer personas that we discussed in the previous lesson. So benchmarking of services has different perspective which serves different purposes. So of course it looks at internal capabilities such as resources. Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough manpower? Versus external customer facing features of the site. You look at different aspects of the customer life cycle. You look at quantity versus quality. You look at in-sector versus out-sector. You look at financial to non-financial measures. Of course, you look at user experience versus expert evaluation. So all those elements are always crucial. For example, Boston. Boston is a higher education institution. So their in-sector would be your varsity college, okay? Then their out-of-sector would be universities because they are also still part of the higher education. So in conclusion, as digital marketers, it is important to understand that a key consideration is developing an understanding of how to satisfy your customers than your competitor. And you need to understand that the five Potter's forces shape the rules of competitions, and always try by all means to have these rules of competition to your competitor advantage, and always have some sort of competitor benchmarking where you are assessing your company's capabilities with the industry. You look at your resources, your financial resources. You need you look at your products and so forth and see whether you can sustain competition or not. Any questions?
No question.
All right, we are now left with the last lesson for the day, and I know that is going to be very quick because we'll be just performing a competitor analysis.